Boom. Okay, hopefully they can't hear any of that stuff out there. At the moment, there's a work crew grinding up a giant tree that fell across the road right across the street. And so you may hear some like loud grinding noises intermittently throughout the show. So far, I don't see it popping up on the microphone. So, all right, there we go. It's Monday. It's show 380. What? Yes, 380. My God. So many shows. Dog butthole. So, man. So I twiddled my thumb so hard, I now have to wear a brace on my thumb because I messed up a tendon. So that's from thumb twiddling. I'm out of thumb twiddling commission at the moment. So I don't know. The fact that I've been twiddling thumbs so long that we're now sporting injuries from thumb twiddling says a lot. Making a lot of noise out there. That's popping up every once in a while on there. Yeah, so Overstock is now officially BYON, BYON. They moved from the NASDAQ to the New York Stock Exchange today. They were going to ring the bell, then apparently some ETF rang the bell today instead. Okay. Bill Pulte is in New York City as well. He's doing a meet and greet at Smith's Bar or something like that in New York. And if you send him a message, you can get on the list and go, you know, high five him or whatever. Neely Doss, I think, missed the window to do his appeal, so he's screwed on that. Whatever. Screw that guy. Anything else, Big Monkey? The final bills were submitted to the court. And Monkey's ears are like, what is going on out there? Monkey. Monkey butt. Monkey. Yeah. It's just, they're grinding stuff up. It's okay. There's grand stuff up out there. Yeah, it's a big-ass tree. They got to make into small little bits. Yeah. Okay, so... Shabam. Oh, I forgot to get fresh water. Dang it. Okay. Not too much happened. Weird little things happen with like stock finders and tickers. Like some tickers have it 20 cents now for Bed Bath & Beyond or Babe Butterfly, whatever you want to call it. Some had it like $12.76, which happened to be the exact amount if you take 10 billion divided by the 780 million shares that may exist. Also, if you got your statement from Fidelity, it now lists your shares as a reorganization and not like worthless. It's like reorg. So interesting things seem to be happening, but no fresh news. Nothing in Edgar. If I check Edgar right now, refresh it. Yep, last filing September 29th. Who knows? I can't twiddle thumbs anymore. I just can't. It's very frustrating. Keith Booth, hi. Keith Booth, I would like a Blue Sky code, please. Keith Booth, you gotta donate on Charity Tuesday at the end of the month. And I'll probably have enough codes by the end of the month that anyone who donates will probably get one. So, yeah. Izora, second. You were second there, Izora. Derek Horst, are my BBYQ calls dead? I'll be sad. I had 70% of my position in calls. I don't know. I don't know if they're as dead as the shares are and that they may reappear at some point. Not a clue. I tried to buy a whole bunch of calls this summer and I just couldn't. I tried any platform I could. I guess at the moment I'm kind of glad they didn't let me, but at the same time, like, I don't know. So I can't answer that for you, Derek. I have no idea. Kevin Randon, Houston. My vacation officially ends today after seeing Queen last night. Feels like it should be time to do this. Come on, S1, we're ready. Ready, Freddy. Dude, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I'm tired. I'm tired and ready. And let's see that filing. there's something that said maybe they won't ever file anything with the SEC again. I don't know if that's actually going to work, because if they're moving to the blockchain, they might not have to file with the SEC. But at the same time, they have to have some sort of corporate action out there to tell the brokers what they're doing, right? Some sort of distribution, something like, I mean, right? Kelly Reed, media is finally catching up to our naked short selling. American investors have been taken for $1 trillion ride by naked short sellers in what could turn out to be the biggest financial scandal in the USA. The cost of housing in the United States has reached an all-time high, with Americans now needing to make $114,000 per year to afford a median price home. The median household income is only $75,000. This is exactly where we were in 2007 when I told everyone that the housing market was about to collapse. And I think I told this story before. I was down in Orange County and visiting my brother down there and his family. And on the cover of the Orange County Register, they had this big old like, woohoo! The average home price in Orange County is $600,000. We did it. And I looked up the average household income, and it was like $60K. That's unaffordable. Like, this is going to last. This is going to crash because no one here can afford a house. And a year later, it did. Actually, months later, it did. So if you make it so that people can't afford homes, then people won't buy homes, and then homes will be forced to become affordable. Pretty crazy situation to get yourself into, right? It's weird how home prices always seem to manage to outstrip the income of actual people. It's weird. So of course, give me that bread. I wish I had more. I do. Wish I had more. Oh, Jason Blackwell. Houston, my neighbor is an Asian cannibal. For dinner, he eats ramen noodles. The Pretty Nuts one is still the best one. That's the one I have retained that one, and I will Pretty Nuts anybody who comes along. John Castro, happy birthday. Estimates on AMC earnings and stock price. I bet the earnings are fantastic. I bet it goes up. I might buy some calls if I can. When's the 13th, right? Is their earnings? AMC earnings call. Where's my earnings call? Oh, the 8th. So that is Wednesday. Okay, so I might buy some calls tomorrow. Short weekly calls and see what happens. Because I have a feeling that they're going to be like, we made so much money. Because Barbie alone just raked it in. So I think they're going to do fine with earnings. I think stock price is going to go up and then shortly afterwards get hammered right back down. So that's what I'm leaning towards. Yeah. Jay, what price do you think retail stops buying and just holds the new ticker once FOMO hits $200 per share? If it's available, I mean, man, like, there will be a whole bunch of FOMO from folks, just like there was with Jimmy and the others in 2021. People were like, whoa, shit, I guess I should throw some money at this. But I have the feeling this stock got hammered down so low that there may not be an opportunity at $200 to buy anything. Simply because within 24 hours, my guess is that hedge funds will start to be liquidated, especially if there is cash to go along with it. I mean, you send $10, $10, $20 to each shareholder, right? It costs you $10 billion, but it costs the people who shorted billions of shares tens of billions of dollars, immediately just vaporizing any cash they had on hand. And if you have equities attached to it, then the share price has a floor price of an insane amount that has obliterated their margin. And so they get margin called, and their prime broker's like, hey man, looked at your accounts, you have no cash and you have like $1 kajillion in liability. we're going to need you. You got 24 hours to come up with like $100 billion. And the hedge funds won't become that cash. Why? Because we are in a credit crunch. Banks don't even have that money right now. So they're going to get liquidated the next day. 24 hours later, they're not going to come with that money, and liquidation will begin. The market makers, on the other hand, have to meet capital requirements, which means they're supposed to maintain a certain amount of cash on hand. And if that cash vanishes, say they owe hundreds of billions of dollars in cash for cash dividend for all these shares, then they get liquidated by the prime brokers, and they cease to exist as a market maker anymore. So that means GTS, gone. Canaccord Genuity, gone. Virtue Capital, gone. And of course, Citadel, gone. And somebody else has to be a market maker from that point forward, right? They will vaporize all four of those guys and maybe more. I don't know whether market makers might be in trouble on that. But if the next day liquidation begins, there won't be a chance for retail to get in FOMO. It'll be all MOAS from that point forward. Jay, did you see any possibility that AMC is in the Kretsu? No. I don't think any of these folks would want to do business with Adam Aaron. I don't think they would do business with him. So no, I don't think it's in there. It could be, maybe he's fooling all of us or something, but I can't see anyone wanting to do business with him. Carlos Barcenas, will our new BBY shares appear automatically in our broker accounts? I don't know. Until we see a filing from the company telling the brokerages what to do with those shares, I have no idea. There's multiple possibilities. One day something gets filed and immediately we're now all in a crypto trading platform. And it's all crypto shares and that's it. And we get cash and crypto and that's it. Another is they file a document that says, hey, in 10 days, we're moving this thing to crypto platform. So close all your short positions. And then nothing goes position close only, stuff goes nuts. Or perhaps they announce like, hey, we are distributing cash. We're distributing 7 different company shares for everyone who has these shares. And things just go nuts from the beginning. We won't know. All we can do is we're in speculation station. So whatever you can make up in your head is probably plausible at this point. So whatever you're thinking, you're right. If I'm thinking it, I'm right too. And if that guy over there is thinking it, he's probably right also. So just think of like diabolical things. And if you go through enough of them, one of them will probably be correct. Jason Blackwell Glamour Magazine is on the docket to ring opening bell at New York Stock Exchange tomorrow. Who is ringing closing bell is still showing a blank. Pulte? Yes. I don't know. That'd be funny. SJ, g'day. Ludicrous Speed. Neely is either getting paid by the hedgies or he's the dumbest motherfucker out there. Probably the latter after hearing him speak to the judge. Yeah. Dude, give it up, buddy. Just give it up. Oh, SJ got a code for Keith. Maybe he got it in there. Scott Pollen just picked up the new Spider-Man game at the local GameStop, and it's pretty cool. Wild how they changed the storyline so much, digging the new direction, they're gone with it. All right. Grape Nuts. Happy birthday, big guy. Thank you. Dmitry Maximoff. Playing Diablo whilst watching my man Houston drop some knowledge. Everyone's playing little video games today. I'm not playing video games. I can't. My thumb won't do it. Grape Nuts. I was wondering how fucked I am if I have 5,700 shares of BYON on the Schwab and a decent amount of GME there too. I only have one broker. What happens if they go bankrupt? Then all of their assets get assumed by another brokerage and you just become that brokerage's customer. Your shares will be fine. There may be hiccups in how things get traded and whatever, but your shares will still be there. You'll just wake up one morning and a new broker will have control of your trading and stuff. Dear course, can we all be disappointed with GameStop cutting off employee benefits? Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't find like an actual attribution to where that came from. So I think I saw that and I was like, there's nothing, no official letterhead. There's no official statement from the company. So I'm very curious as to where that came from. Dimitri, is it true you listen to speed and power metal from the Finns and Swedes? Which brands are you into right now? I do. I like classics. Bathory, Hellhammer, Monomarth. Who else, buddy? Well, Monomarth's American, aren't they? But anyways, they're still power and speed metal. Man. Whatchamajigger? Murder guy. He always had good stuff. From Mayhem. Is he still alive? I think he like moved to France or something, and I don't know. I can't remember. I'm drawing blanks right now. But yes, I like the metal. Scott Pollen. Dimitri, Diablo was never my jam. Happy like it though. Dimitri Maxim, Unleash the Archers is a band I just discovered. I like them. Post Moas. I'll visit them live in their country. Unleash the Archers. Unleash the Archers. Word. S.J. Houston. Did you ever look at the band Opeth? Especially the album Ghost Reveries and Blackwater Park. Okay, Release the Archers. Put this. Release the Archers. And Opeth. That one sounds familiar. I think I did look them up. Reveries, Blackwater Park. Jika Shukla, Houston. Make a prediction. Biden versus Trump 2024. Here's my crystal ball prediction. Trump wins the Republican nomination, but is in prison. That is my prediction. I don't think he survives these 4 court cases and makes it without being sentenced to prison in at least one of them. And so he's gonna be remanded to federal penitentiary before the general election. And the Republicans are gonna shit bricks because everyone else is running kind of sucks and they're all sucking up to Trump. And so that's the big reason why I think Mike Pence dropped out. Is Mike Pence is like, look, if I'm not on stage with these losers, then when Trump goes to prison, the Republican Party at the convention is going to freak out and try to find a replacement. And they're going to pick me because I'm the only one with any experiencce out of the whole group of losers. And that'll be my ticket to being like at least the Republican nominee for president. That's my theory as to why he dropped out so early. Because he doesn't want to like taint himself by being on stage with the rest of those clowns. All trying to like kiss Trump's butt the entire time. And yeah, so there's my crystal ball prediction. Trump's in prison. They pick Mike Pence at the convention to be the nominee, and that's why he dropped out now. It's just like not encumber himself with the rest of the primary field. Yeah? Julio DeSantis 2024. Oh, DeSantis is running such a terrible campaign. Oh my God. Okay. Dear course, I also have stock lending on and Robinhood. Go ahead, call me dumb. But not all my GME shares are lent out, so they can dig their hole a little deeper. I mean, can you recall your shares anytime? Can you be like, I'll lend them out. I'm gonna recall them now. I'm gonna lend them out. I'm gonna recall them now. And just watch like the price pump up and down. It's starting to piss rain out there again. Oh, the grindy guys had to stop grinding because it just started dumping buckets of rain out there. Dimitri Maximoff help build data centers for companies. I hate currently Facebook and Microsoft in Iowa at the moment. Word. Whatever, Mayo. Talk about cities within cities with different laws, regulations like City of London, Vatican, and District of Columbia. I don't know enough about those, whatever, Mayo. Someone sent me the video of the City of London thing being like, they're not actually part of the UK. I'll have to look into that further. The Vatican is its own country. They are a sovereign state. They're their own country. District of Columbia is not its own country. It's the capital of the U.S. It is administered by the federal government, and they're made not to be a state because back then people had loyalties to their own states more than that nation. That's why we had the whole Civil War, blah, blah, blah. So they didn't want D.C. to be a state. So D.C. basically is taxation with representation at the federal level because they had to pay federal taxes. Whereas if you were in Puerto Rico, you don't pay federal taxes. because you don't have representation. So DC is a weird little thing. But yeah, the city of London is actually a very small little patch in the actual London. There's the city of London, and then there's London proper. They have a different mayor. That's where all the banks are. They got weird banking laws and rules. There's only like 8,000 people that are residents of the city of London. That's all I can remember from what I read years ago. But now the fat cat wants in. There you go, Fatso. Get in here. Come on, Chalupa. What's up, buddy? Get up there. There you go. Boom. Shakalaka. Look at that. Oh, show that booty to everyone. Heck yeah, big boy. Big boy can shake that cake. First name, last name, Houston. What is the startup cost for extracting gold from junk? I was curious to see if it's worth the investment. It's only worth it in large volumes, or you can turn profit from smaller batches. I mean, I do smaller batches when I can actually have a chance to do it. I mean, you're gonna be spending. You gotta buy a grinder. You gotta grind up chips and garbage and crap into fine powder. You're going to need a hood vent because the acids are absolutely just will kill you. You're going to want burners, several of them, because you'll spill acid and burn through the burners. Have to get new ones. Those are cheap, those little hot plates. You'll need lots of beakers and jars and swizzle sticks and all sorts of things. So the setup for probably, if you build your own hood vent out of like a bathroom fan and plywood, you could probably do all the setups you need with materials for like, well, grinder's probably 300. So let's say $600-700, right? The starter kit, $600-700, and then you need your acids. You're gonna need hydrochloric acid. You're gonna need nitric acid. You're gonna need sulfuric acid. You're gonna need like lab grade hydrogen peroxide, and a whole bunch of precipitates, different precipitates, carbonates, things like that to like get different metals out of your acids. That's probably another $300-500. So yeah, between like $1,000-1,200, you can have a little garage set up to start doing that stuff, and then you're going to be out there buying gold and things to recycle. So yeah, so like $1,200 you can probably do. You'll need a furnace as well. That's probably another $300. It's like $1,500. Get a little tabletop furnace, and you can melt all your gold and things into ingots. Right, monkey? Yes. You're not in the garage when I do that, are you? No, because poison gases will knock your ass out, and you'd be a stupid dog. Yeah, so you have to stay inside when I do that. But yeah, $1,500, somewhere around there. If you're gonna like go full commercial, it's gonna cost you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars to get all the equipment. But a little garage action, a little hobby, it pays for itself. Yeah, like $1,500. First time, last time, I'll be starting from zero, no equipment or anything. Thanks, and have a great show. Also, thanks for the Blue Sky code, finally. You're welcome. First name, last name, Houston. Is IEP still a worthy investment? Not financial advice. I wouldn't mind having big chunks of it when I have a pile of cash. I mean, it's still paying out 20-25% a year. Not too shabby, right? So, yeah, that doesn't seem so bad to me. Remember, Microsoft is $352 a share and it pays 75 cents a quarter. IEP is $20 and it pays $1 a quarter. So your return on IEP is insane. Meanwhile, the value of Microsoft, though, climbs like nobody's business. A year or two ago, it was like $250. Now it's $350. So it keeps going up. But the actual like cash dividends you get out of it are so much smaller than IEP is. G-Font, HW FINRA released supplemental frequent asked questions on MMTLP. Want to discuss? Oh yeah, I got sent that. It is garbage. Let's see here. Where was it? I gotta find it. Close you. This one here. Chrome. Boop. Boop boop. 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 Okay, we can go through it. So FINRA released this thing. And it is kind of pedantic and full of doublespeak. It's a real dick move is what it is. Okay, so they start with number 12. And they're like, oh, in 2016, we did some frequently asked questions, and we're trying to answer some of these frequently asked questions, but we don't really know what they're referring to in some of this stuff. So, like, receiving questions regarding circumstances surrounding these events. In particular, some have questioned the level of short selling MMTLP, suggesting that there's a substantial amount of, quote, counterfeit shares. Although it's not clear what is meant by the term counterfeit shares. Yes, it is, you dumb fucks. It is exactly, you know exactly what people are referring to when they talk about counterfeit shares. They're talking about fake shares. You sold a share that doesn't exist into the market, and we had to make a fake one. That's what it is. That's naked short selling. Don't tug on my pickle and tell me it's, like, fuck. All right. Okay. It's been used in social media discussing naked short selling and security failures to deliver. Some investors have expressed concern that even though their brokerage accounts statements include shares of NextBridge in their account, these shares may not actually have been delivered to their brokerage dealer. A broker-dealer. Some supplemental frequently asked questions and for additional information to address questions and concerns. Okay. Were the right number of NextBridge shares distributed in connection with the corporate action? That's not a question people are asking. They know how many shares were distributed. They're not asking. This question is no one is asking. We know exactly how many shares were distributed. We're just concerned because there's people, especially in Apex brokerages, like Webull and stuff, who cannot transfer because they can't find your shares, right? The issuers represented 165,472,241 NextBridge shares distributed. Blah, 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 blah. No one cares. And FINRA has not identified information indicating otherwise, because FINRA has not tried to identify any information otherwise. All right. Can FINRA perform an audit of NextBridge's MMTLP share count? FINRA has received questions concerning conducting a share count audit of NextBridge MMTLP shares. While it's not clear what is meant by a share count audit, shut the fuck up. You know exactly what they mean by share count audit. How many shares are in all the brokerages? That's what people are asking. How many shares are in TD? How many shares in Schwab? How many shares in E-Trade? How many shares in IBKR? How many shares in Fidelity? How many shares in Robinhood? People want to know how many shares of this stock are in every single brokerage. Count them. Pop, 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 pop. And then count how many are registered with AST. That's it. It's that simple. That's all you have to do. Count those things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what an audit is. You ding dong. Do an inventory. Duh. Duh, 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 duh. Not that hard, FINRA. Want to know why it's not that hard? Because they can do it in bankruptcy. Oh my gosh, they can do that in bankruptcy. Yes, the bankruptcy court has the power to do that. So why don't you, people who regulate the markets? Anyway, though the term counterfeit shares is similarly unclear, naked short selling and FTDs are addressed in question number 15 below. And it's not really addressed. So yeah, they're talking about share count. It may also refer to more general review to determine whether the correct aggregate number of NextBridge shares are held in relevant beneficial accounts. Appropriate amounts across custodians and transfer agents. This is not a type of review that FINRA has previously conducted, nor does it have the jurisdiction authority to do so. So we regulate the markets, but we don't have the power to regulate the markets. I'm sorry. Oops, our bad. We're supposed to make sure that people follow the rules, but we have no way of actually finding out if they're following the rules or not because we don't have the power. Okay, then have the SEC do it. As in question 12 above, NextBridge has stated that its shares were distributed to its transfer agent and registrar AST, which then distributed these shares either directly to any MMTLP shareholders whose shares were directly registered with AST, or shareholders, bank, broker, or nominee representatives. FINRA does not have jurisdiction or authority over issuers like NextBridge or transfer agents like AST. Transfer agents are overseen by the SEC, are responsible for maintaining issuer security holder records and have responsibilities concerning the reconciliation and safekeeping of securities. FINRA also does not have the jurisdiction or authority over all these entities that could act as custodian agents holding securities or others reflect. Okay, this one right here. All right. So here, NextBridge say the shares are distributed. Blah, blah, blah. The AST, blah, 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 blah. The broker nominee representatives. FINRA does not have jurisdiction or authority over issuers like NextBridge or transfer agents like AST. The entire reason the U3 halt was made was because FINRA had jurisdiction over the settlement of those shares, i.e. the distribution. FINRA is claiming they don't have jurisdiction, and yet they did when the U3 halted it. Convenient. Very convenient there, FINRA. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have jurisdiction over how these shares got distributed. I only halted trading of the stock because I was afraid how these shares would get distributed. It's just... Oh my gosh. Just so... Okay. In addition, FINRA does not possess the information that presumably would be required to conduct such a share account audit. Some have asked whether Blue Sheet's data could be used to conduct an audit of the next bridge MMTLP share account. Blue Sheet data is a regulatory tool that FINRA and the FINRA and SEC examination and investigation teams obtain by requesting daily detailed transaction data from clearing broker dealers for a specific security for a specific date. Blue Sheet data reflects transactions made by the individuals or entities that executed trades in specific security on specific dates, but does not identify the position held in a specific security on a specific date by any person or entity. Further, Blue Sheet data does not contain information about whether or how a short position was covered with a purchase or borrow of shares, or whether a short sale is naked. For example, if an account purchased 5,000 shares of security on February 1st, 2023, and the account previously had a short position of 3,000 shares, Blue Sheet data request for February 1st, 2023 would show that only there was a buy transaction of 5,000 shares February 21st, 2023, but not whether the account was closed in the short position, nor that account held a long position of 2,000 shares following purchase. This is not what people are asking. People are not asking this of you, FINRA. People want to know how many shares were sold, and of those, how many were legit. That's what they want to know. And the Blue Sheet data will show that. These guys sold 10,000 shares. Their position was 0. How'd they sell 10,000 shares? Nothing was borrowed. No transactions that way happened. And you can take the Blue Sheet data for every single solitary day throughout the year, add it all up in an Excel spreadsheet, and it'll give us an idea of who sold what, where, when, and how, and whether it was bought or sold. And if people are short 3,000 shares and they're buying 5,000, you can kind of infer that they're covering, right? And that they added 2,000 shares to their position. But if you only ever see them selling shares and never buying any, then you know they're not covering shit, right? Seems pretty simple. So FINRA's doing a bunch of double speak here, trying to get around the point that they know exactly what's going on, and they can easily go click, clack, click on their computer and see it all. But they're pretending like it's really it's really hard, guys. It's really hard. You have to look at like 365 days worth of data. Oh, it's so rough. I don't know how anyone can do that. Okay. So, similarly, if account sold short 1,000 shares of security on February 1st, 2023, the account previously had a short position of 1,000 shares, Blue Sheet data requested for February 1st, 2023 would show only that there was a short sale of 1,000 shares. Yeah. And so you look at the data for February 2nd, look at the data for February 3rd, look at data for February 4th. We're not asking for you to look at the Blue Sheet for one day, dumbass. We're asking for you to look at the Blue Sheet for the last couple of years, and then we can piece it all together. A forensic accountant could go through this in probably a day. One day. They could probably load the sucker into whatever Excel template they have, and they'd be able to identify immediately who has shorted what and if they ever covered. So you guys are making this like way more complicated than ever needs to be. It seriously, high school kids in a business typing class could probably figure this out. Okay, 14. How much short selling was there in MMTLP? And around the time the next bridge corporate action, was there a large short position in MMTLP shares? This question really pisses me off. FINRA periodically collects short interest information from broker-dealers and publishes short interest reports twice each month based on that information. As explained in the March 16, 2023 MT Free Last Question number 8. These reports reflect a snapshot of the total open short positions existing in a security on the books and the records of broker-dealers on a given reporting settlement date. The last short interest reporting settlement date for MMTLP was November 30th, 2022, because the issuer canceled MMTLP shares and the symbol was deleted prior to the next short interest reporting settlement date. Thus, short interest data for MMTLP and around the time of the corporate action was not made publicly available. Based on FINRA's subsequent regulatory efforts, FINRA estimates there's an aggregate short interest position of MMTLP accounts held at brokerage dealers as of December 12th of approximately 2.65 million shares out of 165.47 million shares, which is not a significant percentage, only 1.6% of the total outstanding shares. Okay. This is voluntary self-reporting. and voluntary self-reporting only of legitimately borrowed shares. This has nothing to do with naked short selling. None whatsoever. So when they say there's only 2.65 million shares, that's the legit legal way to short sale a stock. Our issue is not with the legit short selling. It's with the illegal naked short selling, the counterfeiting of shares and dumping them in the market in order to absolutely crash a stock's price. Closing did not happen. Why? Because they were on the FTD thresholds list the entire time. If closing had happened, it would have been removed from the threshold list because there have been aggregate buying happening. So when they're saying it's only 2.65 million, they know and they're hoping that like the federal, the members of Congress read this go, oh, okay, it's no big deal. But what they aren't telling you is this is voluntary reporting. It's not required reporting. And it's only voluntary reporting of legit legal short sale transactions. And has nothing to do with naked short selling transactions. Okay. The short interest position in MMTLP had therefore decreased substantially by nearly 60% between November 15th and December 12th. Specifically, short interest MMTLP as of November 15th, 2022, approximately 6.4 million short shares declined around 27% to approximately 4.7 million short shares on November 30th, and declined further 32%, approximately 2.65 million shares as of December 12th. Then why was it on the thresholds list and being short sold that entire time? Whoa. Oh my gosh. So if they're closing their positions and covering, why do more short shares end up in the market every day? In addition, short interest, FINRA's daily short sale volume data have been the subject of social media postings, particularly with respect to the number of reported short sales in MMTLP the last day of trading, approximately 9.5 million shares, which some mistakenly assumed represented or resulted in large short positions. However, the daily short sale volume data is a very different data set from the short interest reports as described in more detail on March 16th, blah, blah, blah. Many of the transactions include the daily short sale volume data file reflect temporary shorts that are executed in the course of handling customer long sales or purchase orders, rather than short sales executed in connection with investment strategy based on the belief that the price of the shares will decline. Okay. All right. What they're not talking about is a dark pool here. They're ignoring the whole dark pool thing. They're saying is, these might be market makers who are like, oh yeah, I'll sell you these shares. And I went out and got more later to cover that whole position throughout the day. But you still had a majority of sales of shares as short and never recorded the shares that were purchased long for those who sold short, right? So if aggregate short selling isn't happening, then why is short reporting always like 60 to 70% of all the shares sold? You guys, you follow me there? Like, if this is how you're recording data, why aren't you showing in that data when those folks who reflect temporary shorts that are executed in the course of handling customer long sales purchase orders? Okay, so they were temporary shorts, yes? So you'd assume that either the afternoon or the next day, all of a sudden you'd have a whole bunch of long purchases appear as those market makers made up for this. But you don't. You go 45 days in a row with 60, 70, 80% short sale happening, and never among those times suddenly do market makers go, okay, we're going to go buy some of these shares and we're going to make sure we actually cover those positions. It doesn't happen ever. Okay. That's, for example, when a customer enters an order to buy 1,000 shares of ABC stock, the broker-dealer may immediately sell the customer 1,000 shares marked short compliance, SEC regulation, blah, 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 and then immediately buy 1,000 shares of ABC in the open market. This is example, 1,000 share short sale will be recorded in the short sale volume data, but not resort in short position. Similarly, when a customer enters an order to sell 1,000 shares of stock, the broker-dealer may immediately sell the short to the open market, 1,000 ABC shares marked short in compliance, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if the customer orders 1,000 ABC shares, right, it gets marked short because the broker-dealer immediately just sells them the shares, even though they don't have them, right? And then immediately they buy 1,000 shares. This would be a 50-50. This would show a 50% short sale, 50% long purchase. It would cancel each other out. Instead, we have short volume at 60, 70, 80% or more, and we've got long volume at between 40 and 30%. It never evens out. So even with their little double speak math here, it never evens out that they covered those short sales ever. Okay. In any event, short sales MT conducted on or before December 8th were included in the short sale volume data and resulted in a short position. An account that held broker due as of December 12th will be included in this estimates provided, blah, 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 i.e. 1.6% of shares outstanding. Was there excessive naked short selling resulted in counterfeit shares, MMTLP, at the time of corporate action? Well, it's not clear what was meant by counterfeit shares. Eat a dick. It has been used in social media when discussing naked short selling and FTDs and security. A naked short sale is generally understood to mean a short sale where the seller does not borrow or arrange to borrow for the securities in time to make a delivery within the standard settlement period, resulting in FTD, a failure to deliver. When delivery is due. While certain trades are required to be marked short pursuant to SEC regulation, regs show naked short sales are not identified. So here we go. These are not marked as short, right? So that 1.6% they have right here doesn't fucking matter because right here, they're telling you they don't record it. Oh, how about that? Oh, we're full of shit. Okay. Well, certain trades required to be marked short position for certain SEC regulations show naked short sales are not identified as such relevant short sale data. Nonetheless, where there's significant naked short selling in a security, we'd expect to see indicators in the data, particularly a high number of FTDs. Oh, yeah, it was on the reg show list because it had a particularly high number of failure to delivers and then maintain those failure to delivers for 45 straight days. Particularly a high number of FTDs, and SEC publishes data obtained by the National Securities Clearing Corporation Continuous Net Settlements System, total quantity of STDs per security as reporting settlement date. FINRA has found no such evidence. There is significant naked short selling in MMTLP at the end of its trading. We're not talking about the end of its trading, dude. We're talking about its entire trading. The aggregate several years of naked short selling that was going on. So those are the language they're using. They're like, at the end of its trading. You halted the end of its trading. You halted it. So, haha. Okay. We're not clear through CNS. However, FTDs as of December 9th were very low. 215,000 shares. Oh, really? Very 215,000 shares. So 215,000 shares on the last day of trading alone. So obviously, we're not going to count December 7th, December 6th, December 5th, December 4th, December 3rd. Like the volume on the 8th, this is probably half the volume that happened on the 8th. So in addition, while FTD data is not available for transactions in MMTLP due to settle on December 12th, FINRA estimates a very small number, 0.3% of MMTLP's share total outstanding. With short positions in MMT as of December 12th would potentially result in FTDs. They're only counting this date, December 9th, when really trading stopped on 8th, but the 9th is when they reported it. So they're only counting this as shares that perhaps did not settle, not counting the fact that every single day prior to this, hundreds of thousands or millions of shares were sold naked into the market every single solitary day for years leading up to this date. So if collectively, every single solitary day had nothing but short sales and failures to deliver happening, right? The aggregate will add up over time. And they're conveniently ignoring this entire thing. That, like, if you bought a share in May 2021, and it may have been a naked short sale, and you got a blank counterfeit IOU, synthetic, whatever you want to call it, share in your account, right? They may never have closed that position because they do these little things called swaps, where they'll just trade the swaps around and pass that hot potato around, and hopefully never end up with it again. Or it was sold by a market maker that way. And as we can see in every single solitary market maker's reporting, all of them have tens or hundreds of billions of dollars of securities sold and not yet delivered. Right there. Okay. All right. Broker-dealers had stock borrows on margin securities available to cover almost 100% of the open short positions. Really? They did? What about the naked ones? That you're conveniently living out there. You're not talking about the naked ones here. You're talking about naked up there, but not right there. No naked there. Limited number of FTDs through December 9th, together with other factors such as availability of shares, stock borrows, or margin securities to cover almost 100% of the open short positions on December 12th, as discussed above. If I remember correctly, I think this number of shares available to borrow on December 8th was like 20,000, somewhere around there. So then how did they cover the 215,000 on that last day that was sold? If, they got plenty there, right? And we all know that the phone call made to cover to borrow, whoever has those shares can tell 1,000 people whatever they want to hear. Like, this is Joe at brokerage A. Like, hey, Joe, do you have any shares I can borrow? Yeah, I got about 20,000. Cool. Or are you going to borrow them? Not necessarily. Then they sell things. Someone else calls them, hey, Joe, from a different brokerage. You have any shares I can borrow? Yeah, I got like 20,000. Cool. Are you going to borrow them? Not necessarily. 100 people could call that guy all day long, asking the same thing. And of course, Joe has these shares available to borrow, but no one's actually borrowing them. But they're all selling 20,000 shares each and marking, I've identified Joe as having 20,000 shares. And so you end up with 215,000 shares sold that way, naked. Because, oh yeah, I talked to a guy, he had some. And then FINRA's like, oh, it's okay. We're fine. You guys know you're running a fucking clown show here. You do. You know that you're doing a bunch of little double speak inside of these paragraphs, talking about two different entire things. Here you're talking about naked short selling, and here you're talking about broker dealers had stocks to borrow margin securities available as 100% short positions. They did not. These guys are naked selling, meaning they don't have the shares and they're not bothering to really call anyone about it or have any intent of borrowing anything. And then you're saying here that everyone had, there's plenty of shares to borrow. Okay. So let's just do a little math question here. If they had plenty of shares to borrow and they borrowed them, right? Meaning this whole group over here now has a bunch of IOUs in their account. And they gave them, these folks over here who bought the shares. When they did this distribution of 165 million shares, these folks got the shares and the ones who lent them out did not. So how are you going to get these folks their shares without being able to close those positions in the market? So even if it's only a measly 1.6%, that's still 1.6% who are owed their shares, who never got them. And we know it's way more than that because that's just the voluntary short interest reporting. So limited number of FTDs through December 9th, together with other factors such as availability of stocks, availability of shares, stock borrows, or margin securities to cover almost 100% of the open short positions. On December 12th, as discussed above, the successful distribution of next rated shares, as discussed above in question number 12, and the low amount of short interest positions in MMTLP relative to total shares outstanding, as December 12th, as discussed in question number 14, were encountered to claims that there was extensive naked short selling near the end of the trading. We don't care necessarily about the extensive short selling near the end of the trading. What we care about is the fact that there was years of extensive naked short selling with no covering going on. Ever. These guys never covered, they never closed, ever. Meaning the aggregate total of naked shares in accounts was astronomical at the time of distribution, which is why people in entire brokerages cannot register their shares because they're being told, we can't find them. Good luck. If you're an Apex cleared account with Webull or something like that, they can't transfer your shares because they can't get their hands on them. Period. So, 16. We all have all MMTLP shareholders receive their next bridge shares about investors who purchase their shares from a short seller. As referenced above in question number 12, next bridge stated the transfer agent AST has distributed all its shares. That doesn't give us the answer. All it tells us is they distributed what shares they had left to brokers. Either directly to any stockholders that held their shares directly registered AST or to shareholders, bank, broker, nominee, or representative. It still does not answer the question. This is them not answering the question. You have no clue if anyone in these accounts got their shares. As explained in the March 16th, 2023 MMTLP frequent asked questions, number 10, because NextBridge has not obtained a QSIP number for its shares, there is no information manner in which to identify NextBridge common stock, and broker dealers may therefore be reflecting the NextBridge shares in customer accounts using different numeric or alphanumeric identifiers. While the absence of a QSIP number may have caused some confusion, it does not affect the status of NextBridge shares in customer's account. Unless they call their broker like, hey, I'd like to transfer my shares to AST. And the broker's like, cannot. Can't find them. Right? Answer that question. As further explained in the March 16th frequently asked question number 2, a seller ceases to be a holder of shares and a purchaser becomes a holder of shares after transaction settles. An MMTLP purchaser who bought shares from a short seller would still have been the holder of record for the next bridge distribution, provided the short seller is able to deliver MMTLP shares by December 12th. What happens if they weren't able to deliver because there were failures to deliver in the hundreds of thousands per day through that entire time? And then when it reached T35, they'd do a swap, which would reset the entire thing. Yes. Okay. Based on the small size of short positions of the broker-dealers existed December 12th, 1.6% of the total shares outstanding, it appears that only a limited amount of the shares traded in MMTLP around the time of the corporate action might have been settled by broker-dealers using borrowed shares. Any purchaser who received borrowed shares as settlement of transactions December 12th would still have been entitled to receive next bridge shares distribution purchaser. Yeah, but they won't have them. Yes, they're entitled to them, but they won't have them. I can be entitled to a lot of things that I may not possess, right? Why did FINRA halt trading MMT before December 12th? FINRA is authorized under its rules to impose quoting and trading halts as to OTC equity security, where, among other factors, FINRA determines an extraordinary event has occurred or is ongoing that has had a material effect on the market of the security as caused or has potential to cause major disruption to the marketplace or significant uncertainty in the settlement of clearance process. You said up above, and I think it was number 14, that you had no ability to regulate any settlement or clearing, right? The distribution of those shares, that would be the settlement and clearing. So you said you don't have the ability or the power to regulate that, but here you did the halt because you have the power and ability to regulate that. FINRA made such a determination for MMTLP and halted trading December 9th because after December 12th, the settlement date for trades executed December 8th, the MMTLP shares would cease to be DTC eligible. Yes, this is exactly why all the brokerages had gone to position close only and told the short sellers that they were going to force close their positions. So no new positions were going to be made, you dumbass. And you know that because it was in your corporate action. So you were well aware of what was in the corporate action on the daily list. You were well aware that all the brokerages were going to position close only for the 9th and 12th. And somehow you still felt the need to halt trading so that the positions wouldn't be closed. So they wouldn't have to close those 2.65 million shares or whatever you claim that's in, only it's in there. Because it was going to affect settlement. But then if settlement got affected and people still can't register their shares because their brokers don't have them. Okay. Specifically, trades executed after December 8th would not have settled in time. Purchasers would become a holder of MMTP shares by December 12th. Yeah, no one was a holder of those shares by December 12th, dude. No one. It was like 2 weeks before the first people started actually seeing it in their accounts. So this is bullshit. Giant heaping, steaming piles of bullshit because it still took weeks and weeks and weeks for the first people to have like the fake little CUSIP numbers put into their account. The sale of MMTLP shares would still have been recorded as the holder eligible to receive NextBridge shares as part of the corporate action. Okay. So, but they're selling them fake shares anyway. So, right? That's the whole problem is that they're selling shares that didn't exist. So, whatever. But anyway, the 9th and the 12th were to be used for position close only, and you know that. So no new positions would have been created. All right. Moreover, any trades in MLT not settled by December 12th would have needed to be resolved through broker-to-broker process outside DTC, which could likely have resulted in significantly delayed delivery of FTDs, which is exactly what happened. If not ongoing disputes, it also appeared likely that MMTLP shares would be canceled by the issuers before the broker-to-broker settlement occurred. Okay, so the solution here, FINRA, is not to like pussyfoot around for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks after the S1 is approved by the SEC, but to be like, hey, MMTLP, how about we make the settlement date the 14th and we issue shares the 15th? Let's do that. Rather than be like, no, halt, right? And then piss everyone off. That is something you could have done, right? That's something you could have done rather than just like freak out and hit the halt button at midnight the day before everyone's expecting to have their shares get closed out. So try that next time, right? And then maybe like 64,000 people wouldn't be screaming and yelling at you because you suck at your job. You suck at your job, FINRA. And the buyer would not have been recorded as eligible to receive next bridge shares distribution. Moreover, any trades MMTLP not settled by December 12th would need to be resolved through broker to broker. We did that part already. Okay. In addition, there was potential for confusion and disagreement in the settlement process among the parties with respect to which security should have been delivered to the buyer. For example, an investor entering a buy order MMTLP on or after December 9th might not have understood they would not be a holder entitled to receive NextBridge shares in the corporate action distribution. The seller of MMTLP shares during that time period would have received NextBridge shares as part of the distribution, and the MMTLP shares should be purchased imminently and be canceled. Okay. No one was buying shares except for people who were short on their position on December 9th. No new purchaser of shares would have happened on December 9th. It would only have been shorts closing their positions. That's it. Purchase close only, PCO. That's all that would be happening. No new positions would be opening, so you dumbasses halted this thing over an imaginary situation that was not going to happen because the brokers had already established they were going to position close only for the 9th and 12th because that's how they understood the daily list corporate action. You know, the one you guys wrote. Basically saying, settlement won't be able to happen, so we're going to position close only. FINRA believes that in the absence of a halt, all the above factors would have made continued trading into past December 8th highly problematic. Shut the fuck up. And had the potential to cause significant uncertainty regarding the settlement and clearance process of any such trades, which is exactly what happened as people went months without getting their stupid shares. Accordingly, FINRA determined that an extraordinary event within the meaning of its trading halt had occurred and halted trading MMTLP on December 9th. The existence or absence of short positions in MMTLP was not relevant to FINRA's concerns regarding the clearance settlement process that prompted the decision to halt the trading December 9th. Except you only counted the 1 day of short sale data and not the aggregate data from the previous several years. We understand certain investors are concerned about difficulties they may experience when seeking to trade their NextBridge shares because there currently is no secondary market for NextBridge shares. See question 19 below. Blah, blah, blah. 18. Did corporate action require the short positions be closed out? And did the halt allow short sellers to avoid closeout obligations? Meat of it. NextBridge MMTP corporate action itself did not require investors with short positions in MLT to purchase shares to close out the positions. Further, the trading halt did not change short sellers' closeout obligations. Except the brokers interpreted that as we're going to position close only, and they had sent letters to folks who were short saying, hey, we're going to force close your positions on the 9th and 12th. So obviously, they're interpreting something completely different than you did from your own language. It's not uncommon for short positions to be open when a corporate action occurs. Broker-dealers have operational process in place to adjust short positions following a corporate action. Oh, how are they going to adjust those short positions, right? How do you adjust the short positions if, like, the shares are disappearing? How do you adjust those short positions, right? The shares are just going to vanish forever. You're going to replace the paper shares. If there are not paper shares to hand to everyone, how do you adjust? Tell me. What adjustment can happen without the mechanics of being able to close those positions in open market? What would that, maybe they would move to a position close only for December 9th and 12th. That's how they would adjust in doing that and getting rid of all the short positions. Maybe that's what they mean by when they were going to do that, such as sending letters to everyone who were short saying, hey, we're going to close your positions on the 9th and 12th if you don't do it before then. Okay. Anyway. Broker-dealers adjusted short position MLT to reflect an equal size short position NextBridge, i.e. an account with a short position of 100 shares of MLTP was adjusted to reflect a short position of 100 shares on NextBridge. Yes. Okay. Now, if you're short on these, right, how do you close them? And if they're short, how do the lenders get those shares back if that's what they're owed? This means, literally, there's people who never got their shares. Ever. If you're in Webull, and you have NextBridge shares in there, right? And you turn on your lending right now, you turn on your lending, your shares will be immediately lent out. Okay. So the fact that it's being immediately lent out tells me that there's a whole bunch of naked shares that still have not been covered at all. So, doublespeak dipshits at FINRA. Thus, investor in a short position on TP who did not close out position before the corporate action would have a corresponding short position in NextBridge. In addition, the investor borrowed the shares in connection with a short sale. They would not necessarily be required to purchase or return the securities to the lender until the lender recalled the loan. And if the lender recalled the loan, how are you going to do that? There is no market, right? So if you all of a sudden turn your lending off on Webull, do they suddenly deliver real shares into your account? Because they pulled out of magically somewhere? How can a holder of NextBridge common stock liquidate their securities? NextBridge registered common stock with SEC, so metamaterials could distribute NextBridge shares and to be holders, blah, 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 blah. However, today it's very difficult for NextBridge shareholders to trade their shares because NextBridge has not taken the steps necessary to facilitate secondary market trading. When NextBridge registered its common stock, it stated it would not seek to make common stock DTC eligible. NextBridge acknowledged that the absence of DTC eligibility would hamper trading because DTC eligibility enables the central clearance and settlement of securities transactions. In addition, NextBridge chose not to obtain a CUSIP number for the CUSIP Global Services for its common stock, further hampering secondary market trading. Without a CUSIP number, a broker-dealer is not able to obtain trading symbol for NextBridge common stock from FINRA to support quoting and trading activity. Unless NextBridge takes steps to facilitate trading its common stock, shareholders will continue to have difficulty trading securities. We know. That's the entire point. What we want to know is those short people that you talked about up here, right? That are short possibly 100 shares or whatever. How are they going to close those things out? All right. And if you did lend your shares out and you did a recall, how are they going to get your shares back? That's why I go to position close only December 9th and 12th. All right. This is all the footnotes and crap. Anyway, FINRA did a whole bunch of double speak in here to try to pretend like either they didn't have the power to do what they did, but then they had the power to do what they did, but that, you know, on the last day of trading is only this many shares sold naked, so therefore we're going to ignore all the previous months and years where shares were sold naked. But it's okay because the broker-dealers have a way of getting around this in that they don't actually get around it because a lot of you folks can't transfer your shares over because your brokers can't find the shares. So there you go. Frequently asked questions, none of which were questions people were asking, and giving a whole bunch of answers that we weren't looking for in the first place. Good job, FINRA. And here we are. Oh, crap. I can't regulate my intros. Intro off. Sip of water. Anyway, that took a while to get through. That means I'm now an hour and 20 minutes behind the chat. Joseph Stewart, reading 100 books to read before you die on A Wrinkle in Time. Is the Tesseract of the fifth dimension maybe a wormhole? If that theory is correct, straight line isn't the closest distance between 2 points. I mean, there's Tesseracts in lots of literature and folklore from Norse mythology. But in that particular case, yeah, they're doing the whole space folding thing. It's like portal that pops you out somewhere else. You're not necessarily traveling through time. You're just like a shortcut through space, I guess. That makes sense? I hope it does. Best way I can describe it. Owen Saunders, hi pal. First trader point blank telling me I'll receive nothing from any future BBYQ distribution. My shares are gone as the corporate action told them. I've been arguing back, but they are adamant. Keep record of your arguing. And then whenever some sort of corporate action comes out, rub it in their face and be like, I need my stuff. Mario Valdez, I don't need my Blue Sky code. You can donate it. Okay. So Mario Valdez, take you off. Put a star next to your name as a donor code. Ping, 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 ping. Noted. Thank you, Mario. Kelly Reed, every economist is stating Bank of Canada will cut rates when they've been warned. Bank of Canada cutting rates would be an inflationary disaster. They have to let this stuff correct. They have to let the home prices collapse and start all over again. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be rough. But if you cut rates, you're going to experience stagflation, which is worse than anything. It means the economy stagnates and inflation still gets out of control. So, I mean, that sounds like a terrible idea. Faster, 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 H. Any thoughts on previously longer-term BBYQ options? I have 50-cent calls for January that changed to 10.20, and they're just gone. Only shares get distribution. I don't know. I don't know enough about what happened there. I have a feeling the OCC may have jumped the gun on that, based upon the polling and reorganization of the shares. So I don't know. I just don't know. So, Patch Football Films, Houston. I know all BBYQ shares have been recalled out to brokers. What about Computer Share or AST? Do those people still have their shares? As far as I know, yes. If you're registered, you have something in there. But no one knows who's registered. So it may have gone AST to Computer Share to AST's parent company, Equinity, or to Wells Fargo. No one's quite sure who has them at the moment. So we hope they don't cut rates in Canada. Yeah. Jersey's here. Scott Pollen. Houston, check out Dinosaur Ridge in Golden, Colorado. Google Earth might show the footprints. Dinosaur Ridge, Golden, Colorado. Dinosaur Ridge, Colorado. Dude, did you not go? Go. Shaboink. Right there. Okay. That looks like a ridge. Can we get to the actual footprints? Anywhere to put a human along here? Nope. No. That's not what I want. Oh, we can. All right. So these are definitely not the rocks where the footprints would be. Unless it's down there or something. I think it's down there. Maybe the street view. Would this be? That looks like a race course. That is definitely a race course for dirt bikes or something. New Valley Park. William Hayden Green Mountain Park. Matthew Winters, blah, blah, blah. Where would the dinosaur footprints be? I know nothing. Maybe here? Maybe on that? Does that look like a dinosaur footprint kind of place right there? Nope. That's definitely not. I was looking for pictures elsewhere. I don't know. Wow, crap. There's a reset of the chat. I just flew back like an hour. And can I get back up to... Scott Pollen. Jay, when next bridge produce oil and pay dividend? It looks like they just drilled an 8th well. They've got a whole bunch of stuff set up and tanks set up. So I think they're going to start sucking up oil and trucking it to refineries and making money. So it might take a little while to get that dividend going. But I think the oil drilling is going to start paying for itself here. And Jay, when HYMC produce gold and silver and pay dividend? I mean, they're producing little bits of gold. They're doing like, well, last time I saw, they're doing like 5 million a quarter in gold. But that's the easy to get stuff. None of it is from the sulfides, which is where most of the gold is trapped. So, I mean, they have to get like $1 billion loan to build a large enough production facility to start processing the sulfide ores. Until then, they're not going to realize any of those $18 billion in gold they have in there. Jay, anyone know if Eric Sprott still owns his portion of HYMC? Not a clue. Not a clue. Mark Sloan, I'm done twiddling my thumbs. If nothing happens, I'll just hold my shares another day like I can do anything else. Exactly. I mean, I can twiddle one thumb. So, we'll just do that. And then sprain this thumb. Dr. G78, hi, Houston, not financial advice. Dr. G78 also sent me a message. You got a Blue Sky code coming to you. But how are you voting in the next AMC meeting? I am not voting in the next AMC meeting because I no longer hold any AMC. I am not an AMC holder. I got out before the reverse split happened, and I ended up being slightly profitable because most of my shares were bought when it was below $8 the first time around. Yeah, so I'm not voting at all in the AMC thing because I don't have any anymore. They're gone. So I have no idea what the questions are. Using some of the questions were purposely confusing. Thank you. I don't know what the questions are. Can we see? Proxy vote questions. We could put 2023 in there. That's Amazon. I don't want Amazon. Why does Amazon pop up? Soccer processing statement. Okay, it's February. Nope. Nope. I don't see the questions in here, so I can't find them to read what they would be. Derek Horse, ice cream. What the F is with ice cream stuff? Apparently, Ryan Cohen likes to go get ice cream when he's finished a deal, and so when people see ice cream, they're like, oh, deal's done. So that's it. Michael Harrow, the BBYQ shills held their own space call last night, and it was glorious to hear them cracking and refusing to listen to actual facts. Danny Holcomb, Houston, take me to Tendy Town. I hope to put you around my back, take you straight to Tendy Town. Of course, I may need a thumb to do that. BB Brand, fairly sure Houston hasn't held AMC for many months. It's true, I have not. John Castro, bitchin' shirt. This is a pretty good shirt, isn't it? It's got like the Hawaiian Polynesian canoes on it and big old Polynesian surfboards. It's a good shirt. Pineapple Connection, I believe. Derek Cohorse, I watch with the headphones and rarely hear anything in the background. Houston. Good. Because those things were really loud earlier. So I'm glad. You can hear Monkey Butt chewing on her bone. She's making big old pop pop noises with her bone. Okay. Jay, thoughts on costs? I still think costs can squeeze again. They only have like 2 or 3 million shares, and it's like 90% insider ownership. So yeah, I think when this thing rips, costs will rip right with it. He's really been sticking his thumb up his hoop. Stuck it up there and just broke it off. That's what I did. Confidence and Homer. The doomsday scenario you mentioned in the last episode, brokers and market makers getting liquidated, is why I feel this won't play out. SEC and FINRA and DTCC won't let the system be destroyed. In one of the filings last week, they outlined the objections made by the SEC for the plan, the bankruptcy plan, and the bankruptcy court being like, don't care. This is how it's going to roll. So the SEC, I think, is upset at whatever is coming. And they may not have the power to be like, this, we can't do this. This might be out of their hands at this point. So there sounds like there's a bankruptcy court silver bullet that's at play here. And the SEC lawyer was like, it sounded like he was sobbing. So it was very weird if you go back to that hearing. I can't remember which hearing that was. So that's September like 24th, 16th, somewhere in there. It sounded like the SEC lawyer was crying when they got told no. Julius Miami, see the BBYQ post on StockTwit. Apparently StockTwit accidentally made BYON and BBBY the same thing and have messed up everything. That's what I saw it before it came on. But I don't pay attention to StockTwits because they're usually terrible and just so full of shills everywhere. Oh, Andrew Stewart threw a blue sky code out for everyone. Who got it? Bum, 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 bum. Gino in Houston, any update on Rosa Twill and MMTLP? No update from Rosa yet. I don't know if she's back in the US yet. I'll have to send her a message and find out. I do want to bring her back on again and figure out what's happening with her appeal, etc. But appeals can take forever. Yeah. Michael O'Hara, no labs at 30 cents now. Well, they were at like 25, so I guess that's a slight improvement. I'd be curious to see at the Disruptor conference what they reveal. What information do they put out there for everybody at that Disruptor conference? Okay, let's frequently asked questions and things. Just for Stedman. Cherry Aloha shirt today. Thank you. It's a good shirt. Coffee Donuts and Homer. I am free to First Amendment audit at Bainbridge Post Office. Did you see it? Your police force is awesome. First Amendment audit at Post Office. I am free. First Amendment audit, Bainbridge Island. I am free. Inland Auditing Media. Oh, I didn't spell Bainbridge Island correctly. Island is Ladin. I am free. Inland Auditing Media. Okay, I don't know what I am free is. I don't know what a First Amendment audit of a post office is. I don't know. I don't see anything popping up. Send me a link there, Coffee Donuts and Homer, because I don't see anything popping up on here. Cheshire, Houston, can you clarify the 10B claim? Is it for or against BBBY? Is there any end date to this? Thanks, Houston. You the best. Treats for Monkey Butt. Chulipa, they deserve it. 10B claims. Is this something that's in the Kroll docket? Let's see here. Where are we in the Kroll docket? 2667, allowance for general unsecured claims. All right. Nope, not that one. That one. Allowance general. Failure designation. Record. This is, I think, has Neely DOS here. Search against failure file designation. Come on, give it to me. There we go. All right, shiboink. BYOQ. Okay, certification of failure to file designation. DOS, Gabriel Rostam. Order confirming Second Amendment chapter plan. That doesn't help anything. What was that? Go there. Ah, shit. Accidentally. Oh! Close the wrong window. Okay, we're gonna go here. Scroll. Boom, boom. Didn't mean to close that window. All right. Docket. Docket like it's hot. Okay. Notice of hearing of final compensation applications. This is the big one that I think dropped yesterday that was like, hey, we're gonna have a hearing if necessary. and pay everybody, and they're all gonna be all done, and this bankruptcy thing's gonna be over. But is this the one? Houston bouncing around. Just open. Oh, quit opening in the wrong window, you jerk. Okay. Certification of failure to file designation of record. Deputy Clerk of the United States Bankruptcy Court hereby certify that notice of appeal from bankruptcy court order for judgment dated blah was filed in the above captioned matter. Pursuant to Bankruptcy Rule 8009, appellant has 14 days from the date of the notice of appeal becomes effective or an order granting leave of appeal is entered. The filed designation item is to be included in the record on appeal and statement of the issues to be presented. To date, the appellant has failed to file such designation to request extension of time within that time frame. Certify the best of my knowledge. So basically, Neely DOS didn't do shit. So maybe that's good. So I guess that's good. But 10B claim. Clarify the 10B claim. So 10B, I don't know what the 10B claim is you're talking about. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't see any 10B claim in here at the moment, but if you can send me something, send me a link to clarify it, I will check. Fortunato 2, I just checked Fidelity, see nothing. You have to check Fidelity statements. You have to go to your statements, click your statements, your monthly statements, and then you scroll down and it will show you that your Bed Bath & Beyond is in reorganization. Reorg CM, I believe, for common stock. Check that sucker. That's where you have to look. Not on just your regular page, but like go to your statements button, click that, click your October statement, and it'll show you it's under reorganization. Shredder 42. Someone seems to have posted butterfly 10Q on PP Show. There's a 10Q? I see no 10Q in here. Are you sure it's butterfly 10Q? Few filings. 15. The last filing I see is from the 29th. Unless somehow go to somewhere in here's a PP Show, right? Photoshop. Gosh dang it. Just r/pp show. PP Show. There we go. 10Q. Let's see. Daily thread. Sub announcement. Pulte delaying his thing. Bonds. Big news delayed. PP Show airing. I don't see anything with the 10Q. No 10Q that I see. This is all stuff I saw earlier today. I don't see anything about 10Q. If you guys have links to stuff like that, send it. But I don't see anything on there regarding such a thing. Josh Jobs, I don't follow your theory on one lucky SUB cashing a computer's fractional share for a boatload when we have to limit price set and those can only be 20% or some shit. Depends on your broker. Some brokers don't care and you can set it to basically whatever you want. Other brokers like Fidelity can only set it to 500% above what the current price is. Some brokers limit to like 20%. They can do like, I think you can do like up to $1,000. After that's only 20% above whatever the trading price is. But yeah, it depends upon your broker. And if the stock is flying at that point, well, someone maybe will get in there, get that stuff in there. And just Stuart Houston, what is your 6-month to 1-year crude oil prediction? With everything going on in the Middle East, oil prices will be kept high. If the bottom falls out of the economy, then oil prices will drop. So I guess it depends upon when a bomb drops out of the economy on that one. But if we keep, having crappy little wars go on in oil producing countries, then oil prices will still be between 80 and 120 a barrel. And if the bottom falls out of the economy and everyone's jobless, then oil prices will drop down to like $10 a barrel. And We're driving our muscle cars again. Suljo, any news on that S1? Nope. H-Man, I've never had any social media, so is there any other way besides DMing you on Reddit to get my Blue Sky code? I've been stalked by patients before and keep a very low online profile. No. I mean, maybe you can have a proxy do it for you, I guess. Would that work? Louis, we work with halted today. Garbage company bought a small position after hours. A Moo Friday. Let's go BYQ. Yeah, apparently. So last week when we saw the after hours price spike of WeWork happen because there was going to be a buyout of $9 a share, that was a fake press release paid for by somebody that went out and caused that to happen. So someone bought a whole bunch for pennies, put a nice little limit order in there, sent out a fake press release, caused the price to spike, sold at their limit order, and made a fortune. So, good job. Emu goes fishing. 84. Do the Australian gold hunter impersonation. Hey, we going out there and get some gold, eh? Hey, we live in the hills. The key to being an Australian gold miner is to put an inflection at the end of all your sentences, like a valley girl. Antonio Baez, is today Houston's birthday? Happy birthday, Houston. Apparently every day is it. Beaver Brand, NVOS announced a stock split. When that happens, the market does a correction on pricing using the expected split information. So no, they won't halt that drop or rise in pricing. Yep. Bitcoin, screens of crash world economy. Do you really think they're just going to hand you a fortune? I mean, someone's going to have it, right? If their obligation is to hand me the fortune, then that's what they should do. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly how it happened, but that's what should happen. Is that they lost, I won. That's how the market's played. So, I guess we'll see. I mean, they could just crash everything and everyone loses. That's also another way they could do it. Walter Estrada DeSantis, the guy who wears heels to make himself look taller. That apparently is the biggest thing in the circles of the Republican primaries, that DeSantis wears lifts, and he is denying it, but he wears lifts. I don't understand. Like, DeSantis was like the cool guy. He was like the baseball stud, the athlete, and he's turned into such a dweebleheimer in his old age. He's only like 2 years older than me, which I blew my mind. I thought he was like 15 years older than me. He's 2 years older than me. We were in high school at the same time. We were playing college baseball at the same time, and that guy looks like shit compared to me. Look at this. I look amazing for 42. He looks terrible for 44, 45. All right. Z, oh my god, dude, with nub. Scar symmetry xenotaph. I don't know what that is. Scar symmetry xenotaph? Oh, it's a band. Is it a band? Oh, it's a band. Okay. All right. Scratch the xenotaph. Gotcha. All right. Shredder 42 Houston, what do you think is going to happen for us who hold shares in shady brokers? On that, I can't speculate. I mean, you can speculate the worst, which is you guys get screwed. Speculate the best, which is nothing changes. You get your shares back or get the new equity or cash or whatever. But the thing is that any taking of shares or deleting of your position can be reversed within 180 days. So we're going to sit around in this 180 days and wait it out. Sir Barther, Houston, if I was elected POTUS, would you accept a cabinet position in the Barther administration? Certainly. Put me in charge of something. I'll figure it out. BW Brand, Church still ignoring that one single major announcement. Oh, you guys talking about NVOS still. Okay. It's Liddy's here. Goodness gracious, dog. Inhaling pieces of bone again, huh? Yeah? Oh, okay, Kitty. All right. Citizen 54 recession. Everything bad comes with it. War in the Middle East. Voter suppression via roll purges. Misinformation. Age concerns, media bias, etc., etc. Can Biden really overcome all this and win? Yes, because I think Trump will be sentenced to prison before then. I don't think he stands a chance in hell in any of these courts. He's got so many people that have pled guilty and turned state's witness to avoid prison time. I don't know if you saw 60 Minutes last night. They had Eastman on there. The former head of the Chapman Law School became a legal advisor to Trump, who basically created January 6th and created all the false arguments about voting machines and stuff. And he's against his own legal advice. He went on national television awaiting trial to lie more about what he did. With friends like that, you're so screwed. That dude's going to prison for a long time. And my guess is he'll eventually plead guilty. That's my guess. Is that when it comes down to it, he's going to plead guilty. He's going to agree to turn state's witness against Trump. But he's the one who was whispering in Trump's ear about, oh, you can still win this election. You just have to have Pence reject all of the state vote totals, and then you'll be president. And Pence's lawyer's like, that's not going to happen. That's not law. And Chapman's like, but it is, if I say it is. And so he's going to prison. He's going to prison for a long time. Cameras, South Korea has paused short selling and the stock market went up today. Yeah, short selling is okay. It's naked short selling that needs to end. I don't know if Korea did the right thing in stopping short selling entirely. They already had rules against naked short selling, but they were having problems with people still naked short selling. So I think this no short selling rule is temporary. While they try to sort out who's been naked short selling in their market, so they can throw their asses into damp prison cells. It may bite them in the butt, being hey, there's no short selling, therefore the market can only go up. So when they allow it back, they may get hammered really, really hard as a result. But I don't think the solution is stopping all short selling. I think the solution is just ending naked short selling. Blockchaining stocks, getting rid of the ability to sell shares you don't have. You must be in possession of those shares then to sell them. Because what FINRA is describing in their frequently asked questions, they're talking about how these market makers were just selling shares without having them to quickly get the liquidity going for the market. And then they would go and find those shares later, to make up for it. Now, if you got rid of the market maker entirely, just blinked market makers out of existence. So there was no more market makers. And someone went in the market and hey, I want to buy 1,000 shares. And there weren't 1,000 shares available, what happens? The price goes up because that's what should happen. There's a demand and there's a limited supply. So rather than the market maker quickly selling shares that don't exist to somebody and then going out later in the dark pools and finding them at no price and then shaving off the arbitrage of it, you just don't have market makers. And you just have a market where shares are or aren't available. And if they aren't available, the price goes up because that's supply and demand. That's the entire point of having a market, right? So get rid of naked short selling and probably get rid of market makers because we don't need it anymore. We've got an electronic exchange. We don't need a market maker to make a market for something. If there's demand for something, then the price should go up. If there's no demand for something, then the price goes down. That's how it should be. You shouldn't have market makers eliminating demand by providing an infinite amount of liquidity, whether it's legit or not. So vaporize the market makers, probably fix the market. Barzoom. That's what I'm thinking of. Thank you, Konstantin Briscoe. Barzoom. Wayne Christensen, you're totally wrong about Trump. Trump will be president. No, he won't. Trump will be in prison, dude. Trump in Georgia alone has 34 people who would have been co-defendants, who are co-conspirators, who have avoided prosecution and agreed to turn state's evidence against Trump. He's screwed. He's absolutely screwed. He has the same thing with the J6 trial in D.C. He's just did a terrible job on the stand today in his civil trial, where he's basically, his company's been given a death sentence and he owes $250 million. And then he's facing the 38 fraud counts in New York over money laundering and campaign finance violations while he was trying to illegally pay off Stormy Daniels and laundering money to do that. That dude is so screwed. And then he's got the only one he might get away with is the Florida trial for the records, for the top secret records that he stole and then lied to the FBI about having or not having. He might get away with that one because the judge there is a Trump appointee and she's kind of shitty at her job. And she may be like, all right, well, we'll make sure he gets out of this one. But by then it's going to be so late. He's going to be convicted in 3 other jurisdictions by then. Be facing probably decades behind bars. And then it becomes a legal question of like, what do you do with a president who should be in prison, but he's also entitled to Secret Service protection? And that becomes a whole different question. But he may run for president from prison, but if he's convicted in 2 different state jurisdictions on felonies, there is no way he can pardon himself. There's a Republican governor in Georgia who I don't think likes Trump very much. So who knows if he would pardon him or not? And he definitely wouldn't get pardoned in New York. He will have those convictions in New York, and he'll do time at a New York state prison for that one. So he's going to prison. There's no way around it. The dude is so guilty of everything. He'll tweet it out and he'll admit his guilt on stuff. And you're like, wow, good job. We'll be presenting this as an exhibit to the court. Yeah, I did it. So what? Okay, Your Honor, he admits to committing this crime. Wayne Christensen, this is just election interference on a banner public level. You mean when they tried to overturn all the legitimate votes by claiming there was voter fraud when there wasn't? Is that what I mean by interference on a banner public level? Which one? Like, when they lied and said that Trump won the election, that was a banana public. But when he gets busted for that lie of trying to violently overthrow the government and murder the vice president, right? That's not banana public stuff. All right. Sorry. I'm getting like 10,000 messages right now. Chill out, people. Okay. How many we got here? Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, that's from Iggy. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment gives Congress the power to disqualify someone who has already held public office from holding any office if they participate in insurrection or rebellion against the United States. It is also true. This was the clause to keep a whole bunch of Confederates out of the government when the time came. So, yeah. Okay. Ted Bingham, tinfoil hat, crystal ball time. If when Trump convicted, is he unable to run? What repercussions do you see from market, U.S. fallout, riot, stock market closures, bubble burst catalyst? What else? I don't see the market collapsing as a result of that. He may get some lone wolf terrorist actions, but a lot of the folks who would do that are like already facing convictions for January 6th and other similar incidents. If he gets convicted in DC for the January 6th stuff, then that could be considered an insurrectionist and he wouldn't be allowed to run for president. If he gets convicted of other things, he can still run for president from jail. I mean, Lyndon LaRouche ran for president from jail. So, yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. I missed a Jose Rosario super chat. I am so sorry, Jose. I must have been reading my frequently asked questions thing from FINRA. Jose Rosario, what's the upper floor of the price for BBYQ? I saw Berkshire is $540,000. Is there enough money in the markets? I'm hoping for 20K. That's $1 billion. Fantastic if you got that many shares. I don't know what the upper price is. The upper price is whatever someone's willing to sell for. If they need shares, they're going to have to offer a whole bunch, I think, to people to get those shares out. And I wouldn't doubt if we see trillions of dollars in liability happen and we see banks getting eviscerated, we see the Federal Reserve having to print, the Treasury having to print to help take care of all this. But, you know, there's trillions of dollars to be had in these hedge funds and these family funds. They're just going to have to sell everything they own in order to, get that stuff out there. Ryan Zukowski, we're watching you in the living room. Can you tell my high school age son Riker why it's important to do his homework? Okay. First of all, I don't necessarily believe in homework. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. But if you're given homework, you're gonna have to do it. I like the finish system where you do your work at school, and then when school's over, that's about it. Save for a couple of things. I don't mind like an assignment for a paper or something like that. But yeah, so you can go the route of not doing your homework and then barely graduating high school and then going to community college for a while. That works for some people to figure out what they're going to do. When I got to college, there was way less homework than when I was in high school. So much less, especially in the sciences. If you go into the sciences, like my physics class, we had like one homework problem every 2 weeks, and we had to like figure out what the hell this homework problem meant. And we had 2 weeks to think about it and then turn it in. I didn't really take that many humanities classes once I got into my major, so I didn't really have many papers to write, save from like my final thesis. Like I'd meet people and they'd be like, "Well, what are you studying?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm astrophysics." Like, "Whoa, you must be so smart." I'm like, "What are you studying?" I'm like, they're like, "Oh, anthropology." I'm like, "Wow, you must have to write papers constantly." They're like, "Well, yeah." Like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "Nothing. I go surfing." So if you get into sciences, you can kind of get away with a lot of that stuff. But seriously, do your homework. It's not that hard. That sucks. You just sit there and plug through and do it. And then, live your life. When I was 13, I think maybe I was 12. Well, I was somewhere in middle school. I did not feel like doing my homework. I wasn't doing it at all. My dad's like, "Oh, just do your homework." I'm like, "No, I don't want to do my homework." And then he said, "All right, I'm going to bribe you. If you can finish your homework in the next 30 minutes, I'll teach you how to drive." And as a 12-year-old, you're like, "What?" And so I burned through that homework so quickly, all done. And we got in the car and he taught me how to drive. So I just was driving at 12 years old in the parking lot of the American Legion, doing donuts, learning how to stop and brake and change gears and do all that stuff. That bribery works. I don't know, Ryan, maybe tell Riker. I assume he's named after Commander Riker of the USS Enterprise. If you want to get into Starfleet Academy, you got to do your homework. Simple as that. They only take brainiacs at Starfleet. So there you go. Hope that worked. Okay. Ichigo, open failure to receive obligations, Houston. When you hear about shorts marked wrong because they were marked as long, that's FTR, failure to receive obligation. Noted. So, yeah. WBYQ, we all know FINRA is blowing smoke. It's true. That's what they're doing. They're blowing smoke. I was telling you how they're blowing smoke. Ted Bingham, your juicy mustache is making me want to go to Hawaii and fulfill my Magnum PI fantasy at my cousin's Masterson-worthy estate. How do I convince a rich relative to buy a Ferrari so I can drive it? Go live in his guest house? I mean, just call that. Just call your cousin with that. Be like, hey, man, look, I'm growing a mustache. I need you to buy a Ferrari. I'm going to live in your guest house for a while and become a private investigator. Is that cool? And they'd be like, what is going on? I'd be like, look, you have the ability to fulfill a grown man's dream. And don't you love me? Am I not your cousin? So that's what you do. Ted, maybe convince them to rent or lease. There's only like 17 or so Ferraris in the state of Hawaii. You just ship them over. It's like $800 to ship a car. It's not that much. Ted Bingham, local avocado price is 10 cents, usually 99 or $1.50. Sign of recession. Does that mean the cartels are lightening up on the avocado growers? I know the cartels are like taking over the Mexico avocado business, and we're like murdering growers and strong arming the avocado trade. So maybe they're getting by that. Jose Rosario, if we got that BBYQ cash divvy, would GME shares or cash be better? How would MOAS affect MMTLP? If they do a payout for Bed Bath & Beyond, Baby, Butterfly, whatever you want to call it, if they do a cash payout and I end up with like hundreds of thousands of dollars in my account, the first thing I would do is I would buy as many GME shares as possible. I would just buy however many tens of thousands of them I could, and I would put that in my account, because if and when BBBY rockets, so too does GameStop. It all rockets together. And so I'm just be loading up on fuel at that point. And how it would affect MMTLP? Not a clue. Because you can't close it. So if you can't trade it, it's going to be stuck as this paper share being held at AST for who knows how long. Yeah. That's that's best I can think of. Warren McCowan. The cartels took everyone's avocado operations over no competition. It's true. The cartels took over. Ichigo, failures to receive are worse. Word. I have to look up those more. No, what would be the best way for streamers and chatters to interact rationally? If we all entered the mind realm and used our mind bullets to trade information with each other. That'd probably be the best way. I'm not saying it could actually happen, but that'd probably be the best way for it to happen. Ted Bingham, Houston, happy birthday. I transferred Fidelity to AST MMTLP months ago and still showing Fidelity with no AST confirmation range, about 1,000 shares. Thoughts? Interesting. I transferred mine, took about 4 weeks, and it happened. I would call them again and be like, hey, I did this months ago. What's the deal? And they might tell you like, hey, we don't have shares we can transfer. Or AST rejected our transfer. Maybe we'll try again. I would call and try again, Ted. Rulerzod Legacy Channel. Dang, I'm late to the show and an hour behind. Well, Rulerzod, you made it, buddy. excited box. None of what FINRA says matters when the shares were not supposed to be trading in the first place. Also an excellent point. The shares were never meant to trade, and FINRA allowed the shares to illegally trade using counterfeit information provided to them by GTS and Canaccord Genuity. So when MMAC complained to FINRA saying, hey, why is this trading? We specifically said for it not to trade. And it looks like the documentation used was counterfeited by GTS and Canaccord Genuity. And FINRA was like, tough shit. So great job regulating there, FINRA. Just top notch, A+, fantastic, no notes. Just Pell, so my fidelity doesn't show anything with BBYQ. Almost an hour late, probably just watching it happening. Josh, go to your fidelity, click on your statements. And under your statements will be October. It's a PDF. Click on that, and it will show you your stuff. And under BBYQ, it'll say reorganization, reorg CM, and then the QSIP number. That's where the magic is. Stargazer 440, my Canadian broker insisted that my statement that shows previous ownership of BBYQ is sufficient shareholder of record info for transfer equity. They wouldn't issue in writing. Thoughts? That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Shoot. Just reset the whole chat again. Dang it. There it is. Okay. All right. Here. What's that all about, little buddy? 4:23, got 7 minutes. I got to get here quick because I have to go get this fat cat's medicine before I run off to work. So, it's your fault, fatty. Got to make sure we get your medicine for you. Korean name. I won last time, but I'd like to donate for the two. Okay, so Korean name. Where were you? There you are. Okay, put a star next to you. Boom. Okay. Names off the list. Here we go. Treats be delivered this Saturday or Monday. P.O. Box. I appreciate you did last time for children. You deserved it. I hope to see a surprise at Breaking Record again next Halloween for children again. Well, I'm hoping that Toys for Tots, which is our November charity, blows everything out of the water. And that we get a goddamn S1 or equivalent dropped so that we can spend so much dinero on Charity Tuesday at the end of this month. And I can be doing it from a tropical beach somewhere. That's the goal, is that we'll live stream from a tropical beach on a brand spanking new laptop, not my 8-year-old rough book, but cherry. Ludwig Vladimir Dorner, Houston, what do you think BBQ will finally wrap up? I mean, this month, it sounds like they'll be doing a hearing on the 16th to finalize everything. So hopefully before then, I would love, excuse me, I would love to get this over with. I want to go from Speculation Station to Rocket Patrol or whatever we call post Speculation Station. Martin Weiss, what do you call a walking stick that makes you walk faster? A hurricane. Dang it. Germans and their English puns. Okay. Oh, Cheshire, sorry you submitted the $10 billion claim. The 10B, the $10 billion claim. For or against Bobby. I think it's cash that was injected into their accounts. And because it was listed as administrative claim, means they get first right to cash payout. But they also have the ability to accept equity in lieu of the $10 billion. So I think what happened was whoever is the cash person behind this Brandon Meadows fellow, they put $10 billion in. They'll use that $10 billion to pay off creditors they don't want around. They don't want to deal with them. They might be sketchy, might be shady. We'll pay you your cash. Get the hell out of here. and then they use the rest of the cash to do cash payments to shareholders. And those cash payments to shareholders managed to set a very high floor price for the stock, immediately vaporizing the margin. Not only immediately vaporizing the margin of those shorts, but also eliminating their liquidity because their payment in lieu are going to have to pay for all those cash payments. And then you reveal like the 7 other companies that'll be involved, and those 7 companies have their own floor price for their shares, causing, perhaps tens or hundreds of dollars of value against every single solitary short that was short at 20 cents. And because they got their cash vaporized, they now have no ability to get enough liquidity to cover their margin, and then they get vaporized and margin called, and then the buying begins. Buy. That's what I think is happening. Maui Sam's here. Maui Sam, reminder, you're also a winner of a Blue Sky code, so send me a DM on Reddit and I'll get you a Blue Sky code. Okay. Oh, Al Smart, somebody posted 10Q for Butterfly Network stock. Yeah, it's different stock. Yes. Coffee Donuts and Homer, the I Am Free Bainbridge Post Office audit is on YouTube. I don't know how to send you a link. The title was Assaulted at U.S. Post Office, Police Called. Okay. Word. Okay. Maui Sam wants to know, would you want a cabinet position no matter who is the president? I mean, I don't think I'd take a cabinet position under like Hitler. I wouldn't want to do that. I think it would depend on who is the president. Because if they're like exceedingly terrible person, then my taking a cabinet position would basically be endorsing their complete terribleness. And that would be very hard for me. I mean, I could take the position to undermine the completely terrible president. I guess that's something I could do. But until that's made evident, I would be seen as complicit in their evilness. So no, I think I would definitely have to go case by case on that. Yeah, okay, I can do like one more, and then I got to get running. Kat, these Blue Sky codes are called a takeaway sale. Gmail and Facebook did the same thing when they were new. Yes, they did. So, get the folks in there while we can. Okay. Eat Me XRPL AMM Automatic Market Maker ISO 2022 level playing field. You will see. Okay. Well, something could beat the stupid naked short selling system that we have now. Wayne Christensen, the only person more persecuted than Trump was Jesus Christ. It's all deep state manufactured while President Biden gets away with all the crime. I totally agree with you, and so do the polls. Trump has never once been persecuted in his entire life. Ever. He's being prosecuted now, but not persecuted. No. His mistake was actually running for president. And had he not run for president, then no one would have cared about his tax dodging, crimes he was committing, anti-union action, child slave labor overseas, investments overseas, connections with the Russian mafia. No one would have cared about that stuff had he not run for president. Because whatever, this guy's a blowhard. He goes in and out of bankruptcy. Who cares? But because he decided to become the leader of the free world, people started paying attention to the crimes he had committed throughout his life. And now the crimes he committed while he was in the presidency, which are quite numerous. So yeah, he's going to get convicted quite thoroughly. I mean, his own attorneys have pled guilty and agreed to testify against him. Like, you cannot survive a trial if your attorney, who previously had, client privilege, right? Now has to testify against you for the crimes you committed together. You're screwed. You're going to prison for that. There's no getting out of it. If maybe the hand of God comes down and goes, yes, you fat, slobby, rapey piece of shit. You are like Jesus. No, that's not going to happen. He's garbage. He's going to prison, and somebody else is going to be a Republican nominee. Wayne Christian, how can you be so smart in everything else but this? That's my favorite one. It's like, the litmus test is, but you're so smart everywhere else, but when it comes to this giant, fat, rapey piece of shit, how can you be so wrong about him? Everything else, you're like super genius. But when it comes to this big, fat moron who hates America and the people in it, and he commits all sorts of crimes, he tried to violently overthrow the government and kill the vice president, he should be cherished and pet and kissed to sleep at night. Trump's going to prison, dude. He is. And then 10 years, you won't even admit to have voted for him. You'll be like, I don't know who that guy was. Yeah. Jose Rosario will hit COVID levels during the crash squeeze. You mean like market crashing? I think the market dropped, was it 37 or 38% in March 2020 due to COVID? We're already down 10. I think the SPY is down around 10, if I remember correctly. Oh crap, I gotta get going. I'll do this last one and then okay, scene, and then I'll run away. 1 year. So we were up 456. We had dropped. We had dropped last week, or end of October, down to 412. So we were down 40 points, 45 points, 47 points. So we were down almost 10%, and then it's bounced right back up again in the last week, which is crazy. Yeah. So this might be our dead cat bounce as they're trying to get rid of everything, and everything's going to drop off a cliff because banks don't have money. They don't have money whatsoever. So the fact that it's this high is crazy. It got to 456 is just nuts. I hope Burry sold everything here and bought calls. Do it all over again. Anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for joining. I've got to run away so I can get this cat his medicine. Have a great day. Pet your dogs and your cats, and I don't know, give your children a scratch behind the ears or something. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday, unless if SEC documents drop tomorrow, I'll do an emergency show. Otherwise, I'll see you Wednesday. All right, cool. Enjoy your night and take care. And this.
Houston, we have a problem.
And don't forget to vote.